Hang on, wait the fucking thing. Help! Oh no! Machines! Jesus Christ. I mean, what is the point? And it's too hot. I'm leaving. So, hello, thank you very much for coming, Dublin. There's so many things you can do here now. You didn't have to come out at all, you know, because it's not like when I lived here, you know, with the horizontal rain and 55 guys around 1.5 pint and Grogan's all fighting over crisps. And you know, back then when people all styled their hair with buttermilk and there was 4 tawny yellow piano pub key teeth between a family. And you know it's a sign of a country thriving and a city being very successful when you can't afford to live there. People say, yes, I've got a very easy commute, I live in the Aran Islands. No problem. We live in a tree, yeah. It's only €400,000. But hello and everything, by the way. I don't spend a huge amount of time on that because I find, you know, it's one of the portals of conversation people get very, very freaked out about. Because you can use hello, and then after that you're on your own, really. You know, people get scared after hello. They go, hello. Do you want a pineapple? They don't know what to do next. People enjoy what's bad for them, and they always have. You know? Nobody rings up Abracababra or any burger house at 4 in the morning and says, have you got any salad? I want a radish. I need one. Heroin does that to you. And I don't bother with drugs myself. You know, I'm at that age now. I don't need to. If I want to rush, I just get out of a chair when I don't expect it. Forget to give yourself a couple of days' notice before you tie your shoes. Whoosh! What a rush. And, or release your potential. That's another one. Now, that's a very, very dangerous idea. You should stay away from your potential. I mean, that is something you should leave absolutely alone. You'll mess it up. It's potential. Leave it. And anyway, it's like your bank balance. You know, you always have a lot less than you think. You don't look at it. No. Leave it as it's the locked door within yourself. And that's how it should be. Because then at least in your mind, the interior will always be palatial, you know? Wonderful gleaming marble floors, brocaded drapes, mullioned windows covered in mullions, whatever they are. And flamingos serving drinks. Pianos shooting out canapes into the mouths of elegant men and women who are exchanging witticisms. Yes, this reminds me of the time I was in Budapest with Pinky. We were trying to steal a goose from the casino. Don't open the door. Because it won't be like that. All you're going to see will be one tiny, grey, starveling little cat with diarrhea. Sitting on a mattressless, iron-sprung bed with its huge eyes mewing at you. Smoking as well, probably. As an emphysemic landlady untangles her pop socks in the background. And some terrible guy, the colour of an aubergine, rounds the corner holding a mug of beef tea, wearing a string vest and says, that's your potential. It's not going to make you happy. It'll depress you when you find out how little you've got, you know? You don't want to find out that the most you could possibly achieve, if you gave it your all, if you harvested every screed of energy within you, and devoted yourself to improving yourself, that all you would get to would be maybe eating less cheesy snacks. I mean, the word here, the key word, is ideal. You could have anything. My ideal body, you know, would be just probably something like one eye. You probably only need one. A kind of sucker thing instead of teeth, because they just give you grief in the end, you know? And a long, long tube with my arse way over there so I don't have to deal with it. Even that has become something. that's much harder to enjoy. Just eating. Because it's been fetishized by this idea of lifestyle, you know? The cookery programs that everybody watches are ridiculous, as so are the house programs. You know, you do not need a fish tank in the atrium you haven't got. And people come in now and they feel under pressure to perform in their lives. You know, who has the time though? Who really has the time to skin the baby rabbit and dip it in the duck's tears and nail it to the garden roof and get to work with the blowtorch so that it has just the right texture? So it matches the tomatoes you squashed that morning using just your elbows. Who has the time? Nobody lives like this. We go around thinking everybody else does, you know? Because what happens is you come in from work, you think maybe at most, if you're getting very adventurous, you will think, tonight we will eat something that has 2 colours in it. But you don't. You end up sitting in front of the television, watching these programs, eating bread from the bag, dipping it in anything runnier than bread. Everybody is corrupted by hotel rooms. You can't help it. It's the only place in the world where you walk in and the first thing you do is steal everything before you take your coat off. Bouncing up and down on the bed wearing the shower cap, thinking, what can I do in here? You know, mobile phones. Everybody has one now. I have one and they're awful. If completely ruined. You know, people ring you up and say, hi, it's me, I'm in the bath. And you think, well, you're still an arsehole. Why? I hope you drowned, and hello. And they've completely dispensed with the whole drama of news, the simple idea of having something to relate, you know, when you could bound in from the garden and pick up the old Bakelite phone that weighed 7 pounds and say, Miriam's dead. You can't do that anymore. You're probably there. Yes, their head's rolling back, the spit's coming out, her eyes are going everywhere. Here, I'll take a picture. See what I mean? She's fucked. People look at me, and then when I say, no, I don't use the web, I can't. Which is true. And people look at you like you just fell out of a tree, you know? And they're appalled. And they say, well, why not? You know, you can't be up to date. And you think, well, how can I be any more up to date? You know, I'm alive now. That's pretty current where I'm from. I don't even like the bank machines. You know those things, the ATMs, you stand there at 1 in the morning trying to keep it in focus and it starts asking you questions. Are you happy with your mortgage? I don't know. I'm not sure about this sausage roll. Huh? Do you want to check your balance? What are you, my mother? Where is the button with the picture of the pint? But when you get a little bit older, it's really evil because you wake up and you think you're fine. It's a beautiful day. Birds are swaying, the trees are singing. Beautiful. Might go for a walk later on. Go to the seaside, maybe. You start to believe your own bullshit. You think it must have been that sandwich you had on Wednesday. I know a thing or two at this stage. It lasts until you get about as far as the kitchen door, then all the goblins just go, and you cough and die. And, but you see, you measure what a good time you had by how much it fucks you up. You go out tonight, get ripped, get shit-faced. You'll wake up tomorrow, somebody will talk to you and say, how was last night? You'll say, it was fantastic. I can't see. No sense of sensation, no feeling, nothing, no sensation on the left side of my body. It's all, I can't even form sentences. You should have come, you'd have at least lost an ear. I was rather saddened. I used to bound home from work to strike my children. But, keep in touch. But there are only so many different ways you can say to a child, please don't turn the light switch on and off again. You have absolutely nailed down the principal finding of this experiment. When you turn it off, Daddy can't see anything. He stands on your toys trying to find you and kill you and breaks his foot. I went to a birthday party recently of a young person. They were all about 10, and they were all slumped on the lawn like dead bumblebees, drinking latte. They were all disaffected, like Berlin in 1929. I was like, what's going on? I went up to one boy. I said, what's the matter here? He said, oh, I have a migraine. What? You're 10, you can get drowned or electrocuted. You can't have a fucking migraine. And the birthday girl, I asked her, I said, why isn't anybody playing? And she said, oh, it's all these parties. You do your hair, you put your frock on, nobody talks to the real you. Get me a martini, would you? But my parents' generation, you know, the baby boomers, the post-war people, they had everything. They had it right, you know, because they came to sexual maturity in the 60s, and the government said to them, what do you want it now? And they said, oh, I don't know, how about the pill? Can we get the pill? You know? I said, sure, there you go. So what else is going on? Well, there's music, fine, here's the Beatles. The Stones are coming in later this evening, there's the Velvet Underground. Janis Joplin has just gone to lunch. So, if you want something to do in between now and then, I'd grow my hair and fornicate if I were you. If things get slow, you could always paint your houses brown and orange and discover the avocado. And then when it was my generation's turn, when it was our goal, you come to sexual maturity, and you say, what's going on, what do we do now? Don't fuck anybody or you die! Never mind, here comes MC Hammer. I mean, I have tried, believe me, I have tried to like rap. And it makes me feel so very, very old. I have tried to get home with the Downies. I can't do it. I understand blues music, you know? It's wonderful, a story of a people's disenfranchisement. I ain't got nothing and they're taking that away too. I haven't even got a guitar, I'm strumming my fucking belly button here. Wonderful names, all those guys, you know, Blind, Dead, McJones. But, because old people do that thing of, you know, when you talk to you, they can be very annoying when they forget your name and tell you the same story 50 times. They don't forget your name. And they know they've told you the same story. They're enjoying that. They just want to see how much you want to inherit the walnut cabinet. That's all that's about. Oh, when people break up, they always use a bunch of lines on each other. You know, terrible, rubbish lies. Like, it's not you, it's me. It's me. It's never you, it's always them. You should level with these people. Tell them, you know that strange sound you used to hear when you were going to sleep? That was me chewing the bed. Out of sheer boredom. Oh, how I hate you. I hate you so much it gives me energy. I have to get up early in the morning to hate you because there isn't time enough in the day. Please go away. Oh, that other bullshit. I need more space. People never quantify exactly how much space they need, do they? But strangely enough, it all seems to be the exact same height, depth, and breadth as you. I know, I'm not very political. I don't understand. I don't pretend to understand most of it, okay? I don't even like the people involved. I think that they remind me, the sort of people who are drawn to politics remind me of the sort of people I used to live with who would leave notes. In flats, you know. Like, we're out of coffee, don't mean to make a big deal about it, but it was mine, because it was on my shelf, and it was taken from there. So, if anybody feels like replacing it at any time, that would be okay with me, underlined, Tina. Or please remember to leave the bins out in the bin leaving out area, which is marked bins. Tina. I used to end up leaving the odd note for Tina myself. You know, dear Tina, everybody hates you. Including people you haven't met yet. Your mum called just to say she's so glad she didn't hear from you. Can't be doing that. Politicians say terrible things about one another. They're always calling each other names. You know, there's that woman, that English minister, Anne Widdecombe, who said about the leader of the Conservative Party, Michael Howard, there's something of the night about him, which is a great phrase, actually, but she said it. And she's one of those people whose looks are remarked on, which is totally unfair. But her voice sounds like a stegosaurus with its arse on fire. Or somebody being drowned over a period of months. How do you get that many fingernails on one blackboard? And you can't help it, once you're over the age of 30, you end up watching the news programs, you know, Newsnight or whatever it is, because no other experience is going to make you that bored and angry at the same time. I hate him! He comes out every time, and he comes out, and he goes, no, Megha, go away. Because you can't watch the American news, you know, the CNN or Fox stuff, because they're just so terrified that you'll get bored and wander off and flip channel. They're so patronising. That's why they have the programmes presented by 45 guys. Hi, I'm Ted, I'm Bob, I'm Ralph, I'm Dick, I'm Dale, I'm Nick, I'm Will. And they keep changing all the angles of the cameras. I'm over here, I'm at this desk, I'm standing here, and Wendy comes up from under the desk with the financial weather. Because it's just ridiculous. The only place I think to get your news is BBC Radio 4. It's a great institution. It's almost too good, though, because you get up in the morning and turn it on, you know, at about 7 or 8, and you can't really find your elbow yet. And there's the guy, John Humphreys, who does a lot of the interviews, and he sounds like he's been up since about midnight, jogging on the spot to accuse people you've never heard of lying. It's very aggressive right from the off. You know, you turn it on and he goes, don't lie to me! Don't lie to me! I've been doing this for 45 years. What do you think I am, a fucking turnip? But because it's the BBC, they mix it up with total whimsy. So they go from that over to a woman called Jenny Murray, who's talking to some people who once walked into a haystack and bonded and set up their own knitting factory publishing company. And then it's back to Andrew Marr, the political editor, outside the Houses of Parliament. Somebody says, you're there, Andrew, we understand you're outside the Houses right now, standing there in shoes. What's going on? And he'll say, well, a bunch of guys came out, you know, and they accused another bunch of guys of lying, but then the guys who were accused of lying countered with their own allegations. And then the original accusers countered with counter accusations. Then a very, very old man, we think he's a judge, we're not sure, came out and said that the original allegations were in fact true, and every subsequent exchange was in fact entirely false. But he himself is wanted in 87 different countries for lying to children and people he dug up just to practice lying. It's back to John Peel. Hello, have you ever licked the underside of an ice cube? Well, Norman Worrington did, and he was born in a coal bucket in Shrewsbury. Tell us all about it, Norman. Well, I began to mount my own knees from the age of 5. And then it's back to John Humphreys. Where are the bombs? Where are they? Am I a bomb? Is this pen a bomb? Get up so I can kick you again, you lying fuck! It was very hard to follow that and then to continue following what is going on there. I think a lot of it becomes confusing because of the language used. You know, these euphemisms, like regime change. What is that exactly? It sounds, you know, like one of those TV makeover programs, but for a whole country, where all the soldiers are going, not yet, wait for it, wait. Just stand over here, wait. Now, I love it! They're burning the murderer, it's fantastic! It makes such a change from waiting to be tortured. Oh, we can get that too! Oh, fantastic! I had my own religious crisis a couple of years ago. I was in a hotel room. I don't want to tell you this, but I'll tell you. I was in a hotel room, very, very drunk, eating a chocolate Jesus, and the telephone rang as I was trying to pick between religions, you know. Protestantism, C of E, Church of England. I've never really been that attracted to because it seems to be mainly based on tea. Catholicism obviously has much more drama built in. You know, there's robes and a guy and candles and weird lighting and a child and wine. Stuff's gonna happen. And then there's all the Eastern religions that people are discovering more and more now, you know, like Zen and so on, which I've always found kind of hard to penetrate. You know, the stories are very dense. The parables are fairly gnomic. And they say two monks are walking over a bridge, and one of them says, as cherry blossoms are falling all around them, and one of them says, you know, I'm very thirsty. And the other one says, yes, but I'm quite tall. Did I miss something here? So I respect all the differences, you know, but I would say that if you believe in any of it, you're a moron. Because, the thing is, to me, it really is just people talking about their imaginary friend. At length. Somebody who's not there. Have you met Cedric? No, I haven't. I never met. I don't mind that, whatever gets you off, you know. But some of them are world leaders. Which does give you pause for thought, you know. People turn up to work and everybody else crowds around and says, what are we going to do, sir? There's a crisis, there's going to be all sorts of ramifications unless we deal with this immediately. What are we going to do? That's fine, no problem, give me a moment, I'll be right back. Opening the briefcase, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't know, what do you want to do? Kill them all, that's fine. You know, and it's amazing in America and so on, when you see the footage of, you know, the snipers, the people who go nuts and start shooting people, they go, he's got a gun and he's shooting people, it's amazing, it's incredible, it's awful, it's terrible, how did this happen? Well, you all have guns. And they do have a limited range of household applications. Unlike, say, Californian wine, which you can use to clean submarines. This young, vital person came out. And I found myself looking at her. I was looking, thinking, you're lovely, you're a really lovely looking human being, you're lovely. Then I thought, don't stare, that's rude. But I couldn't help it, I looked back. And as I did, her boyfriend walked out, who happened to be very, very tall, black, and extraordinarily handsome. An amazing looking man. Wonderful, rangy stride and chiseled features, sort of sea green eyes and a 1,000-yard stare. An extraordinary person, you know. I couldn't take my eyes off him. I'd completely forgotten about her. And then I became aware again. I thought, Christ, don't stare, it's rude. He'll think you're staring because they're a mixed race couple or something. No, don't. I looked away. I looked at the other side of the street. And as I did, this is all true, a skinhead was walking towards me. Now, a proper one as well. One of the old school skinheads, you know, who you don't see anymore, like hunchbacks. Where did all those people go? I think there's an island somewhere, but he's one of the real ones, you know, the people who make all their major decisions with their neck. Tattoos on his teeth. And I thought, fuck, he's gonna hit me just for being alive. I can't look there, I can't look anywhere. And I thought, oh no, he'll walk by and he'll say something dreadful to these people. And I hate these situations, it's gonna be awful. Oh no. He did catch up. They all started chatting, they were friends, they knew each other, and I overheard one of them say, I hope that drunk doesn't go mental. So, one of them bumped into me, very deliberately, shouldered me. And now I'm a rational person. Usually, you know, in that situation, I would think, like you, I'll go home, have a cup of tea, and think about what I would have done to this person had they been tied up. But I was too tired and pissed off. I just stood there and looked at them. And they came back. And we had a chat. The main thing they wanted to know was how I proposed to continue breathing for the next couple of minutes. And then I did a very male sort of reckoning. You know, I did the calculation. I thought, right, there's 3 of you, and there's 1 of me. I'm rubbish at maths, by the way. But in record time, I worked out that it would take at least 3 of me to defend myself against a third of 1 of them. I'm not a fighter, you know, I'm a bleeder. The best I could hope for would be to drown somebody else in my own blood. I think I might have to sit down. I've been standing up for too long. And I don't want to make any huge generalizations about women, you know. No, I'm not here to do that. It's vulgar. But all I'll say is that they have no feelings. Because it's actually men, you'll find, who are far more romantic. Men are the people you will hear say, I found somebody. She's amazing. If I don't get to be with this person, I'm fucked. I can't carry on. I know I mean it. She's totally transformed my life. I have a job, I have a flat, it means nothing. I can't stand it. I have to be with her. Because if I don't, I'm going to end up in some bedsit, I'll be alcoholic, I'll have itchy trousers. I can't walk the streets anymore. That is how women feel about shoes. And the arguments do seem to be unfairly racked in women's favour because of I think the arguments are made in different places. All male arguments are very early 70s, Soviet-made, unidirectional, trundling behemoths that say the same thing again and again and again. You know, I told you I would be late on Tuesday. I told you I would be late. I said it. I heard my own voice. I did say it. I told you. Whereas women seem to have these amazing, slinky stealth bombers designed by Jaguar with a lovely cream leather interior and infinite torque. That's why they can respond by saying, yes, maybe, all right, but why is the fridge door open? I don't understand. I asked a woman I was with once, simple question. I said, have you ever eaten pheasant? It's direct, isn't it? It's enclosed. It contains everything that needs to be said. And she said a wonderful thing. She said, she thought about it. And she said, not really. What does that mean? On any level. Did you suck it and throw it away? Did somebody drop it in your drink? What happened? Was it a speeding car? One lick. What? Another time, I was in a cab. I was paying the guy. And I was stepping out. And I stood on the wrong part of my foot. I stood on the side. Okay? And I knew I was going to fall. And it wasn't going to be a good one. It wasn't going to be one of those, I have fallen falls. It was going to be one of those awkward, oh, I seem to be falling. And, oh, excuse me. And that was just catnip to her. She immediately jackknifed over and said, what are you doing? Oh, you know, I'm just killing time till you get your bag. And I think men get very envious as well of the radar, the sensitivity that women have, you know? Because if your woman friend, if a girlfriend, wife, woman friend of yours says, oh, I'm just going to go and see so-and-so for, you know, in the cafe, I'll be back in a little bit. And they come back and say, well, how was so-and-so? Say, oh, she's not so good. Not so good. Early onset diabetes. And she's having an affair, which is, you know, complex. And there's a very, very good chance she's going to lose her job as well. And you say, what, that's incredible. You found all that out in 15 minutes? She told you all this? Oh, no. She didn't say anything, but she didn't finish her tea.